Hi everyone, I wanted to share a mini that I finished today. This is a mini that a friend of mine had requested for me to make. It is for her grandson, who is 24 months old, a beautiful boy named Jeremiah, and she had asked if I could do kind of a green theme and have frogs throughout the mini. So it was a little bit challenging because I don't have a lot of papers that are green except for like vintage or shabby chic, and I really didn't want to use that. So what I ended up doing was using cardstock. It is 12 by 12 Stampin' Up! Cardstock, and the color I believe is Wild Wasabi. So I ended up just cutting it in 6 by 6 pieces and adhering it to the chipboard, and so that's what is throughout the album. And also I used this paper line that's K & Company. I got it from Michael's and it was clearanced out, and it's a baby and it's got like die cuts and stuff in it, and it's not all pink and blue, so I use this to kind of accent the pages. So anyway, let me get started. Here is the cover. The J for the name Jeremiah is a piece of alphabet chipboard that I have, and I colored it. I just took an ink pad and rubbed it, and it is this Martha Stewart ink pads that I had purchased a while ago, and I think I used a couple of different blues and maybe a little bit of green in that. And then what I did was I took glossy accents and I brushed it over it. And then in the rest of the name for Jeremiah, I have an old Stampin' Up! Alphabet stamps. They were like, I don't know, I got them about 10 years ago. They don't really make them anymore. And I stamped them with that same color ink, and I just punched them out using a circle punch. And the paper is from K & Company, that pad I showed you. And so is this cute die cut of a frog. And then this came with a sticker pack for some Jolie stickers that I had purchased. And then these are Recollection flowers, and I used lime green stickles on them. And also this ribbon is from American Craft. So let me go to the first page here. This is the paper, the K & Company paper. And I took a piece of Bashful Blue, I think is what it's called, cardstock, and punched it with a lace or doily punch or whatever it's called from Stampin' Up. And then I took the ink and went around the edges, and then I stamped it with this butterfly stamp. And I only adhered it here and here so it could be a pocket. And I had a couple of stickers from that same Jolie sticker pack, and I just kind of layered them, and they're kind of like set on a pop dot, so it's 3D. And then in this pocket here, she could put a picture here, and then in this pocket I made this tag. I just took a piece of white cardstock and colored it with a couple of different inks, the stamp pad, and then I sprayed it with this stuff here. I'm not sure how to pronounce the name of this company, but it was this stuff here. And I used a ticket punch in the corner. I had a stamp that says Heaven's Gift, and stamped it on white cardstock, and then put the white cardstock on a different color cardstock. And just had this in my stash, this button. And then made a tag topper using a Stampin' Up! Label punch. I'm not sure what that punch is called. And then I just put Recollections bling across the top. It's really pretty emerald color. And then the back is blank, and it goes right back in that pocket. There we go. So that's that page. And then the next page, and I pretty much left this mini pretty simple, especially when I'm making it for someone else. I just want them to be able to put their pictures in and journal real easily. So this is paper from that line, this is paper from that line, and this is die cuts from there that I adhered on here. These are Prima flowers, and I use that same punch here. And this even, I didn't adhere it all the way down so she could always slide something in there. And these Prima flowers, in the center is these brads that kind of are little sparkly. They're from the Spare Parts. It's at or Paper Studio, the Hobby Lobby brand. And then this is a Recollections glittery pearl, and it actually came with a Halloween set, but I thought this color green was great with these flowers. So, and I like to use flowers in baby boy albums, so men like flowers too. Alright, the next page, this is a Recollections butterfly. I love these. They are so pretty. That is beautiful. And then this is paper from the line, and I used a scallop punch. And then on each little, right in between them, I used just a drop of glossy accents. And then this envelope is one of those #1 coin envelopes. And what I did was I took some different Martha Stewart, those same inks, and just rubbed it on there. And then I sprayed it with electric blue glimmer mist, but then I rubbed it with a brush so that it was just a different shade of green. And because frogs symbolize meaning forever rely on God, I printed this off on my computer on vellum, and then I just went around it with the lime green stickles. And then in this pocket, this is a die cut tag that came with the collection. The frog was already on there, and these the stickers did too, and I just put the J on there. This is a Prima flower with another one of those brads in it. It's just blank on the back. And then this here, I had a cute little frog stamp, and what I did is I used that paper, the watercolor paper or whatever it's called, and I took a brush, one of these things, you know, where you put the water on the inside and use the brush on the end, and some watercolor crayons and watercolor pencils, and then just painted them in. So, and then I took that Tim Holtz tool and I just kind of roughed around the edges and put them on a piece of cardstock so she could put a picture there, and that just slips right back in the pocket. I love doing this. This is probably one of my favorite things to do, is the little coloring in stamps with the watercolor crayons. Okay, and that just slides right back in there, and so does that tag. Alright, then the next page, this is also from the Jolie stickers, and this is just a button that I happen to have in my stash. I wrote the name Jeremiah, printed off of my computer on vellum, used a Stampin' Up! Circle punch and then a scallop punch in a shade of green in the background. I think it's certainly celery or something, I'm not sure. This is paper from that King company, and this is ribbon, American Craft ribbon. And then this opens up, it's a trifold, and I did it with cardstock. And then a piece of cardstock, and I made this envelope with a scallop envelope die. Here's another one of those pearls I was saying that came in that Halloween collection. Stamped it with those butterflies again. This opens, and oh, this kind of got a little bent. Anyway, that same label punch that I made the tag topper, I had some stamps and stamped this little journaling ticket and punched it out. And then I ruined this here, but I could fix that. And then on the back side is this paper, and I just stamped it with a stamp that says love. That goes back in there. And then this opens up, and then I just matted it with that same paper, and she could put a picture or journal or whatever she'd like. And I used Velcro to close it. And the next page is one of those frames from the dollar section in Michael's, and I left it open on the top. There's that American Craft ribbon again, and another sticker from that Jolie's collection. And these are foam. They feel like foam. Okay. And then this last page, it's just a mat with from that same paper collection, and those photo corners again, and I just took a piece of cardstock and punch the edge of it, and another sticker from the Jolie's collection. Again, this is just really simple album, but I thought it came out pretty cute, especially if you like frogs. But like I said, I hope she likes it. And then the cover here, I don't know if I said, but this was American Craft ribbon too. I just basically, you know, did ribbon on the rings. And then this is a Tim Holtz swivel chain. And I found this really cute charm at Hobby Lobby in their jewelry section of a little frog. I just thought it was really cute. And that is my mini. And thanks so much for watching. Bye.